Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 2 of my survival gameplay. I gotta be honest with you guys. I logged on for a second to try and film another episode, and it just it kind of fell apart. So I loaded a new save, and then I was only about halfway through. I lost my helmet. I had died, um, and it kind of just all fell apart. But I loaded the new save, and we are back, and everything's all reset. You know, after the first episode was posted, it didn't get a whole lot of traction initially, at least, or really, it still hasn't as of posting this, and I didn't really expect it to. But I was kind of hoping for it. You know, I wouldn't have posted if I didn't. But then I posted a short of those little footsteps, and that took off way more than the actual video did. It as of right now is sitting at 1200k, I think, which is pretty crazy, because I've posted little shorts in the past, just for little private things, just to test it out, and they never ever did that good. It's always been like, you know, every now and then you'll get a 3k or like a 300 view, and that's it. But that clip took off. Yeah. A couple of people commented on it, which was hype, but there were a couple of people who commented on the actual video, which I didn't expect at all. And they said that they really liked the video and they wanted more. And to Lunex, I don't know how to say your name. It's a second account, obviously, but that's okay. Thank you. You're kind of the reason I posted here, and the reason I'm going to keep posting. Because if there's anyone out there who's watching or expecting it, that's enough for me. I think that's enough for me to post this for a little while. I mean, obviously, no offense, but you're not going to take priority over my daily life. There's a reason I don't have a face cam, and I don't intend on changing that for a very long time until this. The only way that I could see myself face revealing ever on this channel is if it became monetarily stable. If it doesn't ever become that, that's okay. I still might keep this as a hobby. Just as kind of a thing for me to do, a thing for me to post, for me to rant really, without consequences, and finding like-minded people. I'll probably keep advertising it though. Those shorts, they were kind of fun to make. I had never made shorts of an actual clip before. That was interesting. And editing this video, I kind of learned, you know how like the joke about content creation is it's harder than your 9 to 5. That's still bullshit, right? But it's definitely like a job, editing at least. This part's pretty easy, I gotta say. Filming just myself playing games isn't all that hard. Just kind of sitting down and doing it. But editing, just on its own, is actually a fairly difficult process. It's just time consuming, and making it interesting and fun the whole way through is not hop and a skip. It's definitely a process for sure. It was kind of fun though. I'm less stigmatized about my voice now after doing that. Going into this, I've always kind of disliked how I sounded on camera. And I think that's a pretty normal thing. Most people don't like how they sound. But, you know, the more you listen to your own voice and the more you're kind of like, it's just another person talking. And that was the crazy thing too, is it kind of didn't feel like myself after a little while. I feel like I was listening to someone else talk who just shared my opinions. And I think that's how I'm going to keep it interesting. Because I didn't feel like, you know, I was watching a clip of myself doing something cringy. I felt like I was watching, you know, a YouTube video. Which is what I wanted. I wanted it to feel like this was something different, something, you know, acceptable. And it was. In my eyes, that video I posted, I already mined this tree. I'm a fucking genius, dude. Posting a video to me felt like it had to be something that was good. And I don't know if most people feel this way, but I feel like there's always that secret. It's like people understand it. There's something that, you know, the average Joe Schmo doesn't have. I feel like when you watch big creators, it's like they've got something figured out. It's like they've figured something out that makes them more comfortable doing the scary thing. You know, starting a business or just talking to a camera. And I always thought it'd be a kind of an aha moment for me to figure out what that is. Like it's just you know, you got to fix your tone, just this right amount, or you've just got to, you know, do this one thing. And there isn't that. You just become comfortable, I think. There comes a certain point where it's less about the thing you're doing and it's more about the process. It's more about learning. Because when I opened DaVinci Pro for the first time, it was, oh fuck, I forgot powdered snow existed. When I opened DaVinci Pro for the first time, you know, it was kind of head spinning, but I've wanted to do this since I was fucking, you know, 6. Ever since I learned Dan TDM could do this and get paid for it, I've always been kind of like, what? I can make people happy and get paid for it? Hell yeah. You know, I had a little thing that I did as a YouTube channel just with my actual name and, you know, all these things that I did that were not good. And they were clear that they were not good. And I think that's where this belief of like a key to the city, or like a key to life almost came from. And I'm coming to learn that the key to it is just doing. You know, you have that thing where it just prevents you from doing something. I find that it's hard to just get up and do it without some sort of motivation. But when I saw those comments and when I saw this video was actually getting views, not many views, it didn't need many for me to feel this way. There was a drive to do it. As of now, I read that comment from Luxix or Lunix, however the fuck. I read that comment maybe an hour ago. Ooh, another village. And it was just really, you know, heartwarming to see that I had an effect on somebody. I did something. Get the fuck out of here. My bed. My sleepy time. This motherfucker, he take up the whole damn pillow. But that subtle reassurance that there's someone who will probably watch this or even might watch this is enough for me to want to do it again. Yeah, it's crazy to think that I did something like that. I think house-wise, we should build a house in here. I think we deforest this. And then I put my house right in front of this village. We kind of make it blend in a little bit. Because I got the iron and the diamonds for it. It'll just be a matter of getting it done. Good. Alright. We're doing it. Might take a while. Cue the really epic montage. You know, on that topic of doing something wrong, or just figuring out the key, I think there is some sound to that. Like, there is a way to do things. And I think not everyone can do it. Just off the bat. I think everyone can learn to do it. And I think it's a lot of the time just experience. But part of it is also filing down what you need to make something. Something that you can look at and go, this is something I did that is good. And I feel that it is good. And I think one of the things is lowering your standards. And just posting the thing with its flaws. Because a lot of the times, people won't notice the flaws. Like, there was a bit in the other video that in the first episode, where I had to kind of Frankenstein a sentence because I had a coughing fit in the middle of it. You know, I was messing with it for a long time, but something came over me and I just did it. I just put the two things that didn't sound quite right together, and it was fine. I listened back to it a couple of days later, and it was fine. It sounded just fine. But if I had listened to it for longer, I think I would have gone back into that, perfectionist mindset of like, well, if I just get the syllables right, just to line up right, it would sound better. Even if I had gotten it perfect, it would have taken me so much longer to do that. And I had already spent so much time on that video. Like, I didn't spend a crazy amount of time. But I had spent a while just mixing the audio and mixing the sound so that it sounded alright. And that took a while. But it was all after that little section where I was fucking with my sentence. And you know what? You guys probably didn't even care, even if you noticed. And I think that's part of the key, is you have to not just lower your standards, but care less like the people who are watching. It's something that you probably wouldn't care about. Another thing I think about the key to the city, or just learning how to make something good, is removing aspects that you aren't confident with. So not to say that I think I'm ugly, or that I think I wouldn't look good on camera. I think though that, do you guys like my texture pack? I love this texture pack. It makes the axe look all broken. But it's not that I think I would look ugly on camera. I don't really have an issue with me being on camera. But it removes a feature for me to work with. Like, I don't have to get a good webcam. I don't have to go get, I don't have to clean my background. I don't have to do any of that because I don't care. It works out with what I've got right now, and there's an audience for it. Not everyone wants to see your face. Not everyone cares that much. The game is almost like the Subway Surfers. Speaking of Subway Surfers, I want to talk about brain rot for a second, because I actually have a very strong opinion on brain rot. I think it's not that bad. I think that brain rot in its entirety sums up to, people saying things that are conventionally weird. The thing about Subway Surfers or Skibbity Toilet, where it's just a thing that you're like, what the fuck is going on? They're interesting because they're weird. And the Subway Surfer things I'll get to in just a second. I want to talk about specifically what we would consider brain rot at the moment. Skibbity Toilet and like speed and the term phantom tax. Those all are things that, are just unequivocally weird. And in a sense that makes them interesting. Skibbity Toilet is a series about people inside of toilet bowls fighting cosmic wars. And, they have this crazy tech, and we meet new factions and stuff. That's interesting. But the thing that makes Skibbity Toilet especially interesting to, younger generations, I think, is it the repetitive nature of some of the things in it latch onto a younger audience, which is fine. It's how all media that's been, for a younger audience has been for the longest time. Like cribs or like songs meant for babies are shorter because they loop better. It's very repetitive. And I don't know if you noticed, Skibbity Toilet is that one song looping over and over again forever. And it never changes. Which is why an older audience especially looks at it and goes, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. And to be fair, it kind of is. But there's like 9 of them up there. Why would I take your maps? What a fucking pushover. He was selling those at a great price. Yeah, I think Skibbity Toilet's no different from millennial humor, where they do the weird snicker thing, or or most vines were very odd looking back on them now. But that's okay. It's all weird. Weird concepts latch on to people better. It's why anime in recent years has caught on. It's why, you know, things that are weird or out of the norm end up latching on in weird ways. And then I also want to talk about the attention span thing. People claiming that low attention spans equals brain rot somehow, or they're listening to a Reddit story and, you know, a guy plays Minecraft parkour in the background, and that's brain rot. No, I don't think so. I think I disagree with the term because it implies that it's a bad thing to watch that, and it implies that that's a purely negative form of media that is like just solely out to prey on you, which it is. It is solely out to prey on you, but I don't think it's inherently bad, and I don't think it's entirely different than any other form of media we watched as humans in the past. Because the idea of a short attention span or needing two things to look between isn't like new. We walk and talk all the time. We go to places and talk over the thing that we're doing a lot of the time. Commentaries are literally just looking at a thing and talking over it. The difference between brain rot and the difference between that and brain rot is usually just brain rot is less correlated. But again, I don't think that's a thing that we haven't done before. It's just a more stark difference. Subway Surfers is. But it's portrayed as this thing to fear all the time and to always be afraid of, that you're gonna fall into the brain rot trap and then you're gonna die because of it or something. You're not. The worst that's gonna happen is, you know, you're gonna lose some time. And I've definitely fallen for that trap of watching reels too much or whatever, or watching YouTube shorts too much. But I think watching reels isn't an issue, or watching TikTok isn't an issue. I think the thing people forget to do is to think for themselves. That's an issue more than anything. Instead of letting, you know, whatever some scientist on Instagram says control your opinion, why don't you look at it from a perspective that makes sense to you? And there are stupid people who are going to have stupid opinions, but I think stupid opinions have to exist for a functioning society. Because then you have someone to laugh at, and that's pretty awesome to me. No, but really, I think watching reels isn't an issue. I just think you shouldn't take anything that's shown on them at face value. And I think you should also just not let them suck you in. I think you could watch reels for 5 hours a day and still be a very healthy and normal human being and function in society. I don't think it's ever going to kill you to do that. It could cause problems, and you need to acknowledge those problems and take them head on, especially if they're your fault. If you didn't do something because of Instagram reels, like that's not, you know, maybe you should lay off the phone a bit. But if, you know, you're just relaxing and you're doom scrolling, that's fine. Don't let people fearmonger you into believing that you're eating away at your brain or you're rotting your brain, like the term suggests. You're fine. Everyone's just guessing. No one knows anything. Live in the world that you want to live in. Just build your world around it. You know, I was just mining this for coal, but I also think that this is going to be a room now because, or not coal, I was mining for cobble because I want to build a platform for the house, but this is going to be a secret room now because it's fucking cool. Yeah, I'm hoping here I can build a community of people just to, you know, chill out. I watched a lot of Alpha Oxtrat for a while, and that name probably doesn't mean anything to a lot of you people. But Alpha was a guy on TikTok who I'm sure a lot of you have seen. And he He was really funny. He did a lot of skits that were very out there. Alpha eventually built a very niche community, and I don't want to just plug Alpha here. Please come back to my channel. But Alpha Oxtrot was a lot of the inspiration that I had for making a channel like this. Just to talk and play video games and bring back kind of that old sense of YouTube. But there were a couple of things I feel like Alpha did wrong that led to his YouTube channel not growing, because he had a very big YouTube channel, or not a very big YouTube channel. It was a very small YouTube channel that had a couple of big blow-ups. He was the liminal space guy, if that rings a bell for any of you. His channel was just the time that nothing mattered. It was just, vibing with Alpha there. It was kind of like an older brother in a way, because I watched him a long time ago. It wasn't anything super recent. And his jokes were always still, kind of out there, which made them funny. It was, dark humor's always a thing. In the comment that the guy left, he talks about missing Let's Plays in 2014 and stuff, or 2013, and I feel that shit. YouTube used to be so much less built on, money hunger, and it built on all these clout chasing things, because the internet was so new for everybody. And I didn't necessarily, I grew up through that era. I'm very, very late end Gen Z. But I think a lot of that era was people just learning about what the internet was and what it could do for people. And then it turned out that it was basically a money printing machine. So people who were more interested in greed got involved in it, i.e., Logan Paul and a lot of kid YouTubers, ironically, all got sucked into the trap of just wanting to make money. But I feel like this thing we call the internet hosts a place for so much more than is just money taking. I think this works. This looks pretty good. I like this foundation. I talked about doing video essays on this channel. I probably won't do video essays. Ranting like this is more fun, in my opinion. Because people who care will stick around. That's just a fact. I'm less worried about, building an audience and stuff. I mostly just want to build a community of people. And, be their ruler or whatever. Someone that puts me in like a really high position of power that I can't be dethroned or voted out or anything like those, like democratically or whatever. I just want a thing where I can play God for a little bit. No, I wanna kind of just wanna vibe out for a little bit. And if this, becomes a thing I could do full time, I definitely want to do this as opposed to working a normal job. Because it'll just pay more. And also, it would be a much more honoring position, I think. People would remember me more, and it would be just a more special thing that I could have. That looks pretty good to me. Now, it's not going to be anything special. It's going to be a pretty small house, actually. It's just got this big foundation. Let's do oak. Oak and spruce just match so well. It was like they made them too. Like I don't like any of the new wood types compared to fucking wood and oak, dude. That's something I can rant about. Minecraft updates. What the fuck, Mojang? Okay, guys, we've got to riot about this fucking shit because Minecraft updates are just terrible. They can't do multiple mobs. You have a year. It's just AI pathing, modeling, and then biome spawning. It's not that fucking hard. Instead, they choose to make entirely new biomes and just add more blocks to the creative laundry list. Like, we don't need more blocks, bro. We need more mobs, more content. The last trial, or the trial chambers were a good update. That was some good shit. Caves and cliffs was good. Caves were good. Cherry biomes? Huh? What do you mean they're just pink? I don't need pink trees. I don't care. The creaking was kind of cool. That was kind of a cool update. Sadly, it's not in this, but it was kind of cool. Oh yeah, that match is so much better. Adding more optional stuff too would be kind of nice. Like if there was like an optional combat systems and stuff for servers and whatnot. Another thing I want to rant about is Hypixel. Now I don't have a problem with Hypixel necessarily. I more so have a problem with the monopoly Hypixel has on servers. Because for a long time they were competing with Mineplex, the Hive, and all these other servers, but then eventually they just became standardized, which was good for a while, but now we only have one type of Bed Wars that's good. We don't have any of the Mineplex games, which were yearly like events for me. Was playing the fucking Christmas like Stop the Grinch shit on Hypixel or on Mineplex. That shit was so hype. I miss that. And it's not around anymore. We used to play I used to play with my cousins some of the games on Mineplex. Just because you could host private servers really easily in Mineplex. And we would do that just for like a weekend. But you can't do that anymore because they're gone. And it's really hard to compete with how standardized Mineplex has become, or Hypixel has become, because no one plays anything else. I like that color on the floor a bit more. It feels a bit more customizable. And then I think we'll make the roof spruce as well. Ooh, maybe I'll probably do an attic actually, because that would be kind of wicked. And it would make storage a hell of a lot easier. I'll have to go get sand too to make those windows. No shot. I'll put a window right there and that should smooth it out a little bit. So it looks a little clunky right now. But I like it. Yeah. I think that's good. Does that look better? Yeah, it does. That looks pretty good for now. Well, I think I'm going to end it there for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next week probably.